Hi everyone. So we are going to see today's topic as quantum dot laser. So quantum dot laser is the heterojunction laser which consists of multiple layers as P and N type. If you see the P type, you will be having almost 4 layers, and in N type if you see same 4 type of layers you will be having. And in the middle of P and N type you can see the quantum dot structure here, which is the active medium for this laser. So you all already studied about the heterojunction laser. So the principle behind the heterojunction laser is the recombination of electron and hole that you already saw. This heterojunction laser will produce an output of an IR light of wavelength 1.32 micrometers. So going into the construction of this quantum dot laser, you will be having a P type layer and N type layer. Then in the middle you will be having a quantum dot layer, which is the active medium. When you are coming to the laser, you will need a P type, N type area, then an active medium where the laser will come out, and finally the important thing is the optical resonator, which we call it as a mirror. So here for that optical resonator, zinc selenide or magnesium fluoride has been coated in both sides, in this side and that side. So from where the laser will come out, and this is the rough area. So here there will not be any laser output. You will see the laser output only from this partially reflecting surface. Okay, this first layer consists of P type gallium arsenic layer, and likewise here also you can see N type gallium arsenic, which you call it as substrate. So substrate means all this layer has been grown by the crystal growth technique above this substrate only. So above this N type gallium arsenide surface, all the layers has been grown, including the quantum dot. This is called as substrate. The first layer, which is the gallium arsenide, which is the P type layer, and the second layer, which here I had denoted as cladding. So we will come what is meant by cladding and all those things after this, why we need the cladding here. This layer, which is the P type, made up of aluminum, gallium arsenide, and here if you see the ratio 0.85 and 0.15. so aluminum and gallium is a single compound in which the ratio is 0.85 to 0.15. If you add this 0.85 and 0.15, you will get 1. So it is a single compound, and it is a mixture of aluminum and gallium of this ratio, and arsenide, which is 1. So it doesn't mean that only 0.85 atom is there or 0.15 atom is there. So here if you see the thickness, it is 2 micrometer thickness, this layer, that is AL 0.85, GA 0.15 and AS is a 2 micrometer thickness layer. Below that 190 nanometer thickness of P type, which is made up of aluminum, gallium arsenide again, but the ratio is different, 0.05 and 0.95 and arsenide. Why we need this kind of combination, I will tell you, which here you are going to see as cladding surface. So We had already saw the cladding and core. So cladding is always covered after the core. So there will be a core, so you can take it as a core, and above and below there are cladding surface. So cladding is needed to make the light to total internal reflected back to the quantum dot itself. Why we need to do the total internal reflection here, I will tell it later. So this layer 190 nanometer of aluminum gallium arsenide again, and below that there is a gallium arsenide layer, and below that gallium arsenide of 30 nanometers. So below this there is a quantum dot layer from where the laser will come out. This is the active medium. This both will combine the active medium. That is gallium arsenide, P gallium arsenide, N gallium arsenide with this quantum dot contains the active medium. So this entire thing is the active medium. So here there is a 30 nanometer of P-type gallium arsenide. Likewise here N-type gallium arsenide, which is of same 30 nanometer. Whatever I had represented here, that same will be applicable for this below layers also. We are actually reducing the thickness, if you see. So first one is 2 micrometer, then it is reduced to 190 nanometers, then it is reduced to 30 nanometers, and coming to the quantum dot, it is still low, which is less than 20 nanometers, which is the quantum dot. We are reducing the thickness gradually. Okay. Why we need this cladding? Cladding is needed to make the light to total internal reflected from this active medium. Active medium will produce a laser of IR wavelength. So when it try to escape, it will not get escaped due to the cladding refractive index. Once the cladding refractive index is low, the light produced from the active medium will get total internal reflected back again to the active medium. Why we need the back reflection? Because if the total internal reflection happens, then there will be a photon accumulation which will be produced in the active medium. Why we need the photon accumulation? Photon accumulation is needed to induce the process called as stimulated emission. You remember that stimulated emission is very important when coming to the laser. So stimulated emission will induce the population inversion, so that all the excited atoms will be present in the excited level, and then coming back to the ground state, laser will be produced. So this is how the laser works. So once you make the accumulation process due to the total reflection, you are inducing the stimulated emission, and then the laser will be produced, and the produced laser will not be come out from all the surfaces. It will only come out from the partially reflected surface. So I had shown here a light wave which is coming out. So you can take it as a partially reflected surface which is of mirror finish, which is made by this magnesium fluoride coated mirror of partial reflection and full reflection. Here we can say it as 100% reflection here at the back side. So take it as 100% reflection, and here only partial 80% or 90% reflection will be here. So this is the structure of laser, quantum dot laser we are going to see, and the wavelength is the IR wavelength, which is of 1.32 micrometers. So IR means you cannot see. For the convenience, I had used a red color here. As it is in the IR region, you cannot see the light actually. So here if you see, I had magnified the image of the quantum dot layer. So this is the quantum dot layer, and I had magnified, which is made up of indium gallium arsenide, which is a quantum dot layer. So this is the magnified picture of this indium gallium arsenide. So if you see, there is a gallium arsenide substrate, and middle of those two, quantum dot layer will be there, and it is a 12 layer quantum dot. So gallium arsenide is here. So this will be the P type, and this will be the n-type gallium arsenide. Between those two there is 12 layer of quantum dot layers. So total layer is 12. So here you can, if you count, you will not see any 12 here. For example, I had showed this picture. I had not got any better picture than this. So consider this as 12. So there will be a 12 layers, and each one dot is the quantum dot. This is the microscopic image of those quantum dot of total length, which is 1 micrometer actually. But the density of quantum dot is given here. So density of a dot, so if you take 1 centimeter square, it has been enlarged actually. This is not 1 micrometer measurement. Totally it will come around 4 centimeter I think. So if you take a 1 centimeter square, so this is the 1 centimeter square area. If you take 1 centimeter square area, you can see 1.5 into 10 power 10 quantum dots per centimeter square. So 1 centimeter square consists of this many quantum dots, 1.5 into 10 power 10. So that's how it will be so dense. It is actually a 1 micrometer picture, which is actually an enlarged picture for 4 centimeter, 4 into 4 centimeter. So 16 centimeter square picture this is. But if you really see in 1 centimeter square, you can see 1.5 into 10 power 10, that much dense. So 12 layer, and each layer consists of many quantum dots, and total density is 1.5 into 10 power 10 per centimeter square. This is the structure of quantum dot laser. So each quantum dot will be less than 20 nanometers. Okay, coming to the band diagram. So this is the band diagram, in which this is the quantum dot. As it is a quantum dot, we will be having a bigger band gap. So larger band gap you will be having when compared to gallium arsenide. So there will be a p-type and n-type gallium arsenide. In between those two p and n-type there will be a quantum dot. As it is a larger band gap, you can see a shorter wavelength output also. That is, for example, blue color range. The output will be in the blue color range. But we are making a IR laser. How you will achieve this IR laser? So we are getting a blue color. So this blue color will stimulate this p and n-type gallium arsenide. As it is a shorter band gap, it will take the energy of blue color, and the transition will happen. So the recombination process will be happening by this blue color light. So to take the energy of the photon, and due to that photon, it will be triggered. So the recombination process happen in the p-type and n-type gallium arsenide. This blue color light induces the p-type and n-type atom of the gallium arsenide to make it to go to the ground excited state, and the recombination process happened like this. So once it reaches the excited state, it will come down to the ground state again by releasing the photon. As it is a semiconductor, the excited gallium arsenide will be having a p-type hole and electron. This electron and hole, this electron and hole will get combined in the band gap, so which is a smaller band gap. Smaller band gap means you will get the larger wavelength. So you will get the IR wavelength of 1.36 micrometer. This too combines the active medium, gallium arsenide p-type n-type. In between those two, indium gallium arsenide quantum dots. This combination are the active regions. Here there will be a graph which is showing a light output for the given current. The current will be given in milliamperes, and here IT means threshold current. So how much minimum you can give to get a light output, that is called as threshold current. Here the threshold current is 4.1 milliampere. So if you give 4.1 milliampere, you will see the laser output. So below that, if you give any current, you will not see any output. That is the meaning of threshold. Threshold means the starting of light output. For 4.1 it will be started. Then if you increase the current, it will also increase and get saturated at the 30 milliampere. So 30 milliampere is the maximum light output you can get. So around 140 microwatt. So this W is watt, mu for microwatt. So light output will be of 140 microwatt of maximum for 30 milliampere. After that it will start to decrease. This is the band diagram, and recombination is the principle behind the laser, and these two are the active medium, and this is the graph between the current and the light output. And the wavelength of the laser output, which is 1.32 micrometers, which is in near infrared region. So we will be saying near and far. If this is the red, this is the, so in spectrum, this is the visible spectrum, starting from blue to red. After red you will see the IR region. IR is a longer region, and half you will say it as near IR, and then after that you will say it as far IR. Likewise here also in blue color, after blue you will see ultraviolet in the spectrum, and this is called as near ultraviolet region, and this as far ultraviolet region. So you will be getting a near infrared region, that is wavelength of this region you will get. So it is a longer region. You will get it in after red you will get near IR region. What is the advantage of using a quantum dot laser when we are already having a homo and hetero gallium arsenic laser, semiconductor laser? We already saw gallium arsenide. Using the gallium arsenide NNP type, we already produced a IR output. The thing is that you all, as I already explained, you all know that quantum dot only uses a little bit of electron, and the energy will be very discrete, and the power you are using to switch on the device is very, very low, and the definition will be very, very high. Yeah, with very little power you will produce a good light output. So that is the main advantage of this using of quantum dot. So here there is a comparative picture between a conventional LED. So both will be operating in a recombination process. So this is conventional LED and this is the quantum dot LED. If you see the quantum dot LED carefully, the blue and green color, if you compare blue and green color here, it will be so dull. All the colors will be a little bit dull, but if you see the blue and green color, here if you see the blue color will be so dull. Here there will be a difference between this blue and this blue. Likewise, here there is a dull green, here there will be a little bit brighter green. As the band gap is large, you can achieve a shorter wavelength also. That is a main difference between a normal LED and a quantum dot LED. As we are reducing the size, it will become a quantum dot, the band gap becomes large. As the band gap becomes large, you will be getting a shorter wavelength also, so that you will get a high definition picture. So which is actually started to manufacture by 2014, I think so. And you also see this kind of quantum dot LED TV in the showrooms also. Nowadays it is available for a larger price, as it is a very high definition. You will be see a nice picture. And this is the one of the application to make the display, as it is producing a good definition of colors. So this is one of the reason we are using a quantum dot. Another reason is that the application is quantum dot laser can be used in the medical field for producing the IR laser for surgery purpose and all. And then the spectroscopy is a field of study which will analyze the elements, different kind of chemical elements you can analyze with the spectroscopy. And for the telecommunication purpose, internet data transmissions, you can use this laser which uses a low power. When coming to the advantage and disadvantage is one of the biggest disadvantage. You cannot easily make a quantum dot, as its size is less than 20 nanometer. You have to use a sophisticated technology to make it to happen. So it is very difficult to maintain the surface and uniformity of a quantum dot. That is one of the biggest disadvantage. When coming to the advantage, it produces a broad spectrum of colors. So not like LED, I already mentioned blue color and green color you will see in a good definition. So in-depth colors you will get. Temperature, it is less dependent on temperature, and because of temperature, so you cannot see a current variation between a temperature and current. You cannot get a big variation. And gain, you are getting whatever the gain output you are getting is 2 to 3 times very high when compared to the normal LED, so that it is very efficient than a normal available system, conventional system. It is very high efficient. It is very useful also. I hope you understand this quantum dot laser topic. Thank you.